Okay, we're about to go out for dinner, but I'm gonna cut this off, and I wanted to prove that I had to go into the hospital and get monitored for a little bit. So this is my proof that that happened, and I'll tell you guys more about that when I'm back from dinner. Hello everybody, welcome to week 36 of my pregnancy vlog. As you can tell, I'm in a slightly different place, different green background. We are working on moving my desk and everything down to the basement so that when the baby comes, I will have my own little editing place. And we did about half of it, and I need my husband to help me with the other half. Like, my chair is still up here. So in the meantime, I am in my kitchen or dining room. Awesome. Okay, so I meant to talk about this as soon as it happened, but I didn't. Thursday was a very interesting day for me. On Thursday, I had a cardiologist appointment. There was nothing out of the ordinary going in. I mean, it's been a little warmer. The past like weekish has been a little warmer around here, but I took all my pills because I've been taking blood pressure medicine, and thought this was gonna be pretty routine, just pop in, check my blood pressure, be done. They checked my blood pressure 3 times while I was there, and it was elevated, which actually my doctor was late. She got stuck in bad traffic, which is another thing. Maybe I had an earlier appointment than I normally would have, so it's possible that it just hadn't like sunk in yet. It just, I don't know. But yeah, not a big deal. But then so they checked it once when I first came in. My doctor still wasn't there, so they checked it again, and then they checked it a 3rd time, and it really wasn't going down. I've been more and more breathless recently, which I kind of assumed was pregnancy. But with my blood pressure being high too, they were a little worried about that. So I actually ended up going to triage, which the funny thing is the night before, literally the night before on Wednesday, we have classes. We've been having our birth and baby classes. So I had just gotten the maternity ward tour the night before, and then about 12 hours later ended up in triage. So that was an interesting experience. If I had had my wits more about me, I probably would have tried to grab at least my phone to like record a little bit, but not a big deal. So basically what they did in triage, they hooked me up. So they hooked me up the same way that they do for a non-stress test. They have the one monitor that's a little higher measuring your contractions, and one that was lower measuring baby's heartbeat. They found the heartbeat very easily, and it was very nice because they managed to do it unlike the non-stress test, so that they could just leave it on there. They like finagled it, so no one had to sit there holding it, because I felt really bad during the non-stress test that I took, that the person had to just sit there and hold it. But no contractions were being felt, none of that stuff. But they did that. They hooked me up. Baby was fine. Baby was just, you know, moving around. He doesn't like monitors, I'll tell you that. I love my pets. Baby doesn't like monitors, so as soon as there was something pressing on my stomach, he was like, ooh, and so my tummy, of course, is like freaking tide pool, just constantly moving. So that was fun. The worst part was they put a catheter in my hand. They took some blood, and then they left a catheter in it, just in case I ended up going into delivery. As soon as I was like laying on the bed and everything, my blood pressure went down really fast. So it ended up working out that they were like, he's good to be in there for a little bit longer. It wasn't a big deal actually being in triage. But the reason I say that the catheter part was the worst, once they got it in there, it was fine. And then taking it out was fine when they decided that they didn't need to keep me. But my hand is still sore. So that's gonna be a really great indication of post having baby, because I am planning right now on doing an epidural, as well as, you know, they put the IV in and there's a possible need for induction and all that fun stuff. So good warning, I guess, good prep that I'm probably gonna be sore in a couple places. But so that's what happened on Thursday. It was scarier than it needed to be, but I appreciate that they're taking all precautions. What they ended up doing is they upped my medication just a little bit. And the first couple days I was feeling a little lightheaded because it, you know, did lower my blood pressure, but now it's fine. Which brings me to today's appointment. So we're at the week 36 appointment, and week 36 overall, we're looking really good. This is the first time I've had a chance to meet with my OB since the amniotic fluid was high and all this blood pressure stuff. So I've been really anxious to finally sit down with him and I guess start making plans in a way. Even though I know nothing like, well, there was a possibility of making official plans, but I know that's not always the case. Basically, for the past 3 weeks, I've been hearing from different nurse practitioners, you're probably gonna get induced around 39 weeks. You might be induced at 37, you might be induced at 38. It's because of the amniotic fluid, it's because of your blood pressure. And so after all of that, it was nice to finally sit down with him and be like, okay, what's going on? So we started with the ultrasound. We did another biophysical. Biophysicals I'm still doing every week. He did so good. It's so much fun to see him, honestly. He was super active. I wasn't feeling him move around as much. Usually I feel kicks on the upper left side of my stomach. And I really didn't feel that a whole lot this morning, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, he's probably napping. Turns out he is completely pretzeled up. His head is down, and his hands and his feet were all by his head, and he was just playing with his feet, his toes, and wiggling his fingers, and it was so cool to see. Once she had the monitor part of the ultrasound thing on my stomach, he was kicking that, which further proves my theory that he doesn't like having monitors on. But he's just moving like crazy. He was doing all his practice breathing, which the technician said means his lungs are going to be maturing really well, because that's really, at this point, that's the reason to keep him in there. Is the longer you keep him in there, the longer his lungs have to develop, the longer his brain has to develop. We're at that point now at 36 weeks where it's okay if he comes. It's not considered preterm labor, but longer you can keep him in there, the better. Overall, ultrasound went really well. It was really great. He is adorable and I can't wait to meet him in person, but it was also just really fun. I just love seeing him move and feeling the kicks in tandem, I think is the right word. Feeling that all together is just, it's kind of breathtaking, honestly. It's really cool. And I'm like really excited to meet him and have him in our lives, but it makes me excited for the next time I'm pregnant because this is such a cool thing. I don't know what it is. There's something just so fascinating about watching him grow. So I don't know. that sounds crazy saying it, especially after some of the pregnancy stuff I've had to go through, but it's true. I think that part is really, really neat. But okay, so that's the ultrasound. Now we get to the actual appointment with my doctor, which was only slightly frustrating because they scheduled my ultrasound at 10:30. I got in there a little bit late, but he moves so well that it always goes really fast. And my actual appointment was like 11:30 for my OB. And usually they actually manage to get me in really fast, but it just took forever. I was just waiting there and I'm like, I really gotta go to the bathroom, guys. I know you need me to like leave samples, but like I gotta go. Please let me go to the bathroom. Also, that took a really long time. Like waiting for the nurse and then waiting for my OB in the actual room, but whatever. So once I actually talked to him, blood pressure was actually a little high. Not crazy, but a little high. So this is a point in pregnancy where blood pressure does start to elevate anyway. So we're at a very weird place with my blood pressure already being a little high without medication, but now pregnancy is like it lowered, but then pregnancy is pushing it back up again. So that was a thing. There was a small amount of protein in my urine sample. Nothing crazy, just a small amount. And from the blood that they took on Thursday when I was hooked up, there was something else that was slightly elevated too. So all stuff that they're keeping an eye on. But basically the bottom line is that what my OB said is now that we're at 36 weeks, we could be in go time at any point. Now, the reason he says that is because since my blood pressure is high, what they want to do is instead of constantly increasing my medication, the actual phrasing he used was, we don't want to be chasing down your blood pressure by upping your medication when we can just deliver. So I am gonna start daily keeping an eye on my blood pressure. I have a wrist monitor that I got when I was first starting to watch my blood pressure. So I'm gonna be watching that daily. And if it doesn't start going down, there's a high possibility that next week we could be at my 37-week appointment, because that is an OB and biophysical. Now we're officially in weekly appointments meeting with a doctor. So if it's still high, we could be scheduling my induction. So I really hate being in this limbo as somebody who likes to plan. The other part of this limbo is they are not gonna let me go too far past 39 weeks. So yeah, I just had my 36-week appointment. Next week at 37 weeks, it could be go time. Then, or the following week at 38 weeks, we could possibly be talking induction. And that's crazy. That's honestly really crazy. And so I have a feeling I've got this week. What he said is ideally he would like to kind of get me to 39 weeks. At least that's the goal. But because of how he's been growing, because of my blood pressure, because of the amniotic fluid, we are looking at any time in the next 1 to 3 weeks of it being time to go. Which is also frustrating because trying to tell my husband's work, which he's involved in a startup right now, which of course means he's crazy busy, and he told them when we were due, but of course they really like him, so they're like, oh, you can totally still do this. And it's like, oh, but things are happening. So as much as I've been waiting this week to finally talk to my OB, it sounds like next week is probably going to be a bigger indicator. Obviously there was still important things this week. Actually kind of having a little bit more of a set plan, which is if my blood pressure is still elevated, then we're just going to go. That was important to know. Yeah, it was a good appointment. I'm glad obviously that I had a chance to talk with him. But I'm ready to like have some more concrete details, and I realize with babies and delivery you can't always have that, but I have the opportunity to have that, and I'm like, please just make this easy on me and let me find out what's going on. In terms of baby coming, I'm very excited still. I'm mildly freaking out, and I definitely want to start looking into, I mean, I've kind of looked into it, but I feel like I need to get myself even more mentally there, because it is coming very fast. So I'm anxious at the moment, and I'm sure I'll calm down, but I really want to start getting myself there mentally. I have a hospital bag about 50% packed, and so that I feel okay about. I just need to officially put like clothes in there for myself, and have a list for my husband, because he probably won't pack anything ahead of time, but if I can give him like a, here's what you need to grab, so he doesn't have to think about it. I need to make him like that kind of a list. And I think that's pretty much it. Like I don't even necessarily, the only symptom that's been out of the ordinary is I had a lot of soreness down low, but which made it really difficult to walk. I was like limping a lot in this past week, but that it's been gone the past 2 days, and it kind of feels like that was things shifting and, you know, getting ready to actually deliver, which exciting. That's exciting that my body's doing that, if that's what it's doing naturally. But then you've got all this talk of induction, and it's like, oh, okay. Okay. I can feel myself even now as I'm talking about going into labor, being induced. I can feel myself kind of, can feel my blood pressure getting a little high. But yeah, I don't, oh, I also had a lot of weight gain in the past 2 weeks, which I'm not that surprised at based on how much he's growing and my, and me being home, and like it's been so hot and just like swelling. So I'm not surprised. In terms of this pregnancy vlog, I feel like this might be my last video that's like all nice and edited and ready to go for you guys. I do have a couple things, planned to be scheduled as things happen. So there will still be some videos involving baby stuff. Since I'm not gonna want to film or say anything, I'm gonna try to do, if next week I end up delivering, like if I go in for my doctor's appointment and we schedule and we're ready to go, depending on how much time I have, I may or may not be able to make a video. If I'm able to make a video, then awesome. If I'm not able to make a video, I will try to do a quick live update or pseudo live update via my phone to just kind of jump in, let you guys know what's going on. Eventually there will be nicer edited versions of what happens. But this could very well be my last one for a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess the way that I'm feeling is based off of the fact that Thursday my blood pressure was so high, and it's Tuesday and it's high again, and I've been taking, you know, a slightly higher medication dose and it's still high. that makes me a little anxious for next week, but we'll see what happens. I guess, you know, it's all in God's hands now, or, you know, whatever higher being, power, nature. It's all in nature's hands, all in God's hands, all in that. All I know is that I'm very ready to meet him, but now I need to get myself in the mindset of the fact that I'm gonna have to be actually doing something here in a couple weeks. Anyway, thank you guys. I know this is super long. Thank you guys so much for following my pregnancy journey. And thank you for keeping up and watching all of this long nonsense. Congratulations to anybody who's had their baby or found out that they're expecting. And hopefully I will talk to you guys next week for week 37. If I don't, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!